All right, guys, so this is a 2002 Honda Civic, the one I've been working on my past two videos. Well, let me just give you, I guess, a little bit of a backstory. So this is a project car that I'm working on, and I also drive it around. It's my daily driver. It's a good car. And today we're gonna be changing the shocks, okay? And what you'll need is you'll need a ratchet. You need a 15 millimeter socket, 17 millimeter, 19 millimeter, 14 millimeter, 12 millimeter. You're gonna need some needle noses. You're gonna need what I call a punch and a hammer. All right. And just to explain the process to you here, what we want to do first is remove this little pin here, okay? All right. After we get that off, we're gonna remove this little bracket here. Let me see if I can show you right there. We gotta remove that nut. It's a bolt. Remove that bolt for this brake line to come off. Just to come off from there, okay? We're not gonna take it from anywhere else. And then we're gonna take this bolt off and this one at the bottom. Those two gotta come off, okay? Then we're gonna come up here and we're gonna remove these 3 bolts here. Now, I have gone ahead and sprayed everything that I'm gonna loosen with this penetrating oil. I personally like it better than WD-40. I feel like it's better, but that doesn't really matter. You can use whatever you want. So, using my needle noses, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. And this shouldn't be hard to remove. You see, I just kind of tapped it, and then we're gonna pull on that side. There we go. That's off. Now don't loose it. So I'm gonna put it right here. Now let me tell you this. I'm not a mechanic. I just like to learn things, and I like to do things myself. Plus saves money in the process. So I learn, I save money. But I'm gonna tell you this, safety first, okay? So once you jack up your car, I'm using a stand in case the jack was to fail. The stand will catch it. Plus also, after removing my tire, see, I put it down there. So if anything was to happen, before it ever catches my hand or my leg, whatever, it's gonna land on something else. So I'm gonna be safe. All right, so next thing is I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. So let me grab my tool. Okay, so this is a 17 millimeter, and it shouldn't be crazy tight, okay? And then you can just remove that by hand. Leave it about right there for now, okay? Don't take it all the way out, just kind of flush with the bolt, because we gotta loosen this. Now, people have a special tool for that. I don't have one. So I'm just gonna beat it with the hammer several times, and I'm gonna do this while not filming. But the thing is, you just gotta hit it to loosen that from this, and then you bump it down here like that, and that'll bring this loose, okay? And then you just gonna set it to the side. So I'm gonna go ahead though, before I do all that, I'm gonna go ahead and loosen these bolts. Just loosen them, I'm not gonna take them off, okay? So for that, we're gonna need, you can see here, okay? So this is a 19 millimeter, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so just wanted to show you, I tried to loosen it and my bolt was rotating over here, okay? So what you wanna do is put a wrench on this side and then rotate it. So for that, I obviously need both hands. So I'm gonna put my cell phone down. But when you start loosening it, if it rotates, just put a wrench in the back to hold it, and then you can loosen it. All right, so now I've gotten both of these nuts loose right here. Before I do anything else, I'm gonna go ahead and and this is a 12 millimeter right here, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen that, and that shouldn't be hard to do. Most of the time you can just loosen it a little bit and then move it out with your hand. In this case it's a little tighter than that, but that's okay. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and remove that, okay? All right, so y'all can see this markings. I beat up this thing pretty good, and it doesn't matter because it's the one I'm replacing anyways. So now that that's loose, I can go ahead and take that nut off, And see, this comes off just that easy, okay? And you know, so that I'm not gonna lose this, I'm gonna put it back for now. Just gonna put it in there. Okay, with this bracket off, you know, I took that bolt off. Just gonna get it out of the way. Let's go ahead and take this off. I'm gonna go ahead and take both of them off. Well, this one's taking a little bit more than I was expecting it, but it's okay. All right. All right, so I'm gonna set that to the side. Look, now, to remove those, you wanna bump it with a hammer. Go easy on them though. I mean, you know, you don't wanna hit it super hard to where you cross thread them. Now, you can only get it so far, okay? That's where this comes in. You wanna put it right there and hit it. Never, ever use your finger to push that in there, because this thing will move towards you. You have your finger in there, it's gonna catch it. It's gonna do more than catch it, okay? It's probably gonna cut it off, so you don't wanna do that. So using this, just hit it. Obviously use the hammer. I'm doing this just because I'm holding the cell phone with one hand. And I'm gonna put my cell phone down, use the hammer like I told you, and just drive it out of there, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing with the bottom, and that should release everything down here. All right, with your now that everything's loose down there, as you can see, I got that off. You'll come up here, and this is the 14 millimeter here, and just kind of loosen that up. As you can see, they're not very tight. When you put it back on there though, you want to tighten them by hand, of course, but get them tight in there. And once you get them started, this should come off almost completely by hand. However, as you loosen it and your shock drops, you know, it's gonna get a little tighter on one or two of these. All right, now don't lose this. You know, you might need them on your newer one. I know some, I mean, depending on if you buy the assembly or the whole thing, you know, it'll depend on whether you need them or not. So we're just gonna set them to the side. Now with that off, we're gonna come down here, just with everything out of the way. We should be able to move this way or this way. Just careful with your brake line. Should be able to get it off of there. All right, look, so this is the way you were sitting in the car, okay? However, if for some reason you were to forget or whatever, you see this? It's got the little R. Well, that's, you know, your right side, obviously, but the R should be facing towards you. You see the arrow there? It should be facing towards you, towards this, okay? Now, once you put it up there, you're not gonna be able to see it, but when you bring it in from this side, make sure that letter's pointing that way, and you should be good, okay? And let's make sure the new one has it. Look at this. There it is, R, okay? All right, so look, this one comes with nuts. Obviously, you gotta remove them. So let's take those off. That should come off by hand. No big deal. So, keeping the R facing towards us, you want to come in from this side right here and up. Obviously, I'm gonna have to put the cell phone down. Like I said, you need both hands. You do that, bring it up as it is, put it through the holes, put the nuts in them, and that should, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, so let me show you. At this point, I got the new one in. Everything right now is tightened by hand only. Okay, I put this in as well. Everything is tightened by hand only. Why? Because I still gotta line this up right here to put it in there. Now let me show you something. I hope that you'll be able to see it. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. But if you try to put this back in here, it's not gonna line up. Your holes are gonna be way high, and that's because you need to press down on this. See that? Look at this. Let's see if you can see it. Let me switch hands here. All right, look, right now you got this against that, right? So you're gonna push down on this like that. Okay, you see you got some play in there. You're gonna push down, push this back in place, and then you can use your what is this thing called, whatever it's called. Use it to hold that in place. And if you don't have this, you can use a flathead screwdriver, anything that you can use, it doesn't matter. And then when you hold that in place, put your bolt at the bottom in, then remove this, put your bolt at the top. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so check this out. This is what I was telling you about. See, I had to push it down and put this in there so it'll hold in place. Now this hole at the bottom, I just gotta line it up a little bit, drive my first bolt in there, and then we'll be good to go. All right, with everything put back together, I got my bolts. I got my bolt here in my little bracket, the nut here. Don't forget that little pin. Push it in there, and remember to bend those things back, one to each side, and then you should be good to go. Last but not least, don't forget to come up here, and now you can tighten this really good, and you should be good to go, man. I hope this video helps. You know, if you liked it, share it, give it a like, and if you want to learn more things along the way, I will be doing quite a bit more work to this Honda. Like I said, this is a project car. I've been working on it. I've done several things to it. I wish I would have done videos before, but now that I get into them, I hope they help if you're having issues with your car, or if you want to learn a thing or two. All right, till next time.